see if we can keep our consistent. Oh, this move is kind of irrelevant. Okay, I see the vision here. Now, really, this move is not great because of that. But what we're going to do is we're going to recapture with the knight. And that way, our opponent, you know, oh so interested in maybe taking, is not going to be able to do so. So in this case, I decided to take with a knight just to make things happen there. And I think for the most part, we'll continue to do every other move the same. Taking, honestly, we don't really have any problems there. It's more the d3 pawn being hit. I still think rook d1 covers us. Also knight e5. I'm definitely looking at this, but yeah, after bishop takes on f1, I think we pretty much don't have a choice. Well, let's take. Pawn takes looks quite bad. Naturally, that's the move that Buddy here decides to do. Go here. Okay, I kind of like the look at this, but I'm thinking maybe for the moment we hold off. Don't mind it. We do get the bishop pair there after knight c4, so I thought that was interesting, but I will hold off here. 95 in hindsight, maybe not the greatest move, so. I just like my better pawn structure, so let's see if we can make that work. I'm gonna kind of hop my knight around here. f5 drops the e pawn, so maybe we'll see rook e8. I have a feeling he's trying to push the pawns up. Still, knight c4 looked very tempting, but I'm after pawns here. I'm hunting different things. I'm actually going to play a5 here. Fix that pawn like that. Knight on d3 looks pretty good. Ooh, okay. He's getting a little bit frisky here. Giving me a pretty nice prospect. So here he actually has knight b4. A little bit fortunate. Probably he saw it, of course, but yeah, a little bit fortunate, I would say. What to do? Almost want to go here. Kind of a weird move, but maybe it does something. At least he doesn't have this one anymore. Probably knight f6. That's all you need. I guess bishop d6 is going to be a good move here. It doesn't like win on the spot or anything, but I still think it's probably smart. Yeah, queen d7. Covering b8, I think, is pretty nice. Can't quite do it. Let's go here. Maybe even that. Okay, knight there I think we'll take. We do have this puzzle rush tactic, right? Yeah, this is the typical puzzle rush type of move. Okay, he kind of stops it there for the moment. It worked better when maybe he had to take like that. And now, because we're threatening h8 and mate, I think he has to trade with us. You just kind of have to assume this is working, especially with, yeah. With the outside pass pawn should be good. I suppose even without b5, that must be winning. I don't know. You just, anytime I can trade into an endgame where I'm up a pawn, that's one thing that I'm going to do pretty much without calculating every time. It appears he may have lost connection there. Unfortunate, because he was almost winning. Interesting. Bishop a6. I have to say the 1500s, they're definitely better, but they're also playing more like weird kind of unique systems. Like this is not a thing, right? And that seems to be what I'm most used to from these guys, is they're all playing some like abnormal stuff, and you know, making it work to a certain degree. Here, I just want to keep it simple and take back with the knight. We always take back with the pawn, but for obvious reasons, we didn't do that here. In hindsight, to make sure we always achieve the good stuff here, our system, maybe we could play like this. That way we could take with the pawn. And then if we play this in the future, we have the bishop protected. So maybe that would be an option. All right, d6 on e4. We'll pick up our tempo. We do want to play e5, but not before blocking this. And there's that f4 move that I mentioned we will definitely be seeing more and more of. Okay, this is the first time we've seen someone take twice, so hopefully we can play this position well. I have to react to the moves that he's going to play, but basically this is kind of a forced. It's the only line possible. c6, I believe, is literally like the most important move that you could play. Bishop there, bishop e7, and we're going to see castling most likely. Okay, bishop here, and now we get to play the move I like a lot. This knight back to d7, and I would probably play it regardless of the moves that he played, but in this case, it does, yeah, kind of make sense here. f6, and we want to make sure to guard that square, so if white does something like that, we're probably going to play g6, and we're just playing against these knights, trying to keep them out. I really want to trade, but I know that my opponent's going to take with a pawn. If white takes with the rook, I'm not concerned. That would be very, very nice for us. Again, any of these moves, we're playing g6. I would love for white to take me. Hopefully you can see what I mean. Like, I really want them to take me. It's the big difference. If I take, then the pawn takes, and I don't really own that square. Okay, so there's that move, but we already know how we're handling that. And now this is helpful because now I can move this knight. I was probably going to eventually do it, but I was never that interested because knight takes e5. I'd have to recapture with a pawn. But now I can move my knight, no problem, because there's no knight takes knight. And yep, I think knight c5 is going to be where we want to go. Again, notice how these knights all have nowhere to go. Like, yeah, they're just completely dominated. This is a good move, actually. He's kind of going back to this idea. I think now we're going to play bishop g4. So we're finally developed. Not the end of the world if this happens. Yeah, knight takes, bishop takes. There is rook h2, so we're not going to have any part in that. I think what we are going to do is capture here, bring a rook to d8. Clearly, we're threatening to win a pawn here. Not that easy to deal with, but I expect bishop e2. And even though he has f4, I don't think he has a shot to play it. And we might be able to sneak in g5. And the dark squares become really, really nice for us. Takes in knight a4 is just a free pawn from what I can see. I think we're going to do that. I mean, we do allow him to play f4, but I mean, that's a free pawn. We'll take that. Knight there. Yeah. F4. I don't know if we want to play knight takes e4. It's kind of interesting. G5 is tempting, but it does allow him to play that, so I don't know. I don't know if that's worth it. Let's just play this. Time for the pass pawn. Okay, it goes here. I think it might be time to take. Takes rook e2 is a little bit concerning, but I gotta be honest, I think we can get away with it. It's so much safer to just move the knight though, so I may end up just doing that. Okay, I'll go here. We'll do it. If he takes the two pieces for the rook, I think with this outside pass pawn that we're doing well. That's my hope. Rook e2 does look scary. Okay, and if he takes here, he's just definitely losing. So I think he needs to recapture. And if he recaptures, I mean, yes, we can take here, but I think it's kind of irrelevant. Like, I think the point is that we play a3 here. I don't see anything except pawn c3 and knight c2. So feels like that's forced. And basically what's going to happen, okay, yeah, he takes, it's going to be a check, which means, yeah, he should be lost here. But had he played c3, knight c2, basically the knight would be stuck covering a1. And then we would just be playing rook against bishop. So I think that would be pretty easy to win. Yeah, these three pawns, we're going to have to get used to this. Going to happen more and more, especially as the ratings go up. This is the first time that we've seen this. But I feel very confident saying that if you're aware of c6, bishop e7, knight d7, with usually the king going here, but if there's a bishop trade, obviously taking back, I'm just playing like f6, c6, never letting those nasty knight checks. Even our opponent tried to get knight f5, we played g6, just covering every single knight move. Meanwhile, keeping the isolated pawn blockaded, it really feels so easy at that point. And the engine has this pretty much even. So, yeah, this is nice and easy. Okay, knight f3. Knight f6, e5 would be good. Yeah, we're gonna go c3, queen c2, castle. We have the bishop pair, you know, nothing too crazy, nothing too crazy. We want g3. We also have f4 here, but I think I'm going to be a little bit more modest. f4 was possible, but yeah, let's just do this. Okay, trying to guess. I feel like queen e2 is a nice move to play, but okay, h5. Yeah, h5 I'm definitely going to play h4, especially because bishop f3 and bishop takes h5 I think is a big threat. This move looks really bad. I don't know what he thinks he's doing after this. Like, there's not really any follow-up here. It's just kind of, that's it. That's the move. I guess this is hanging, so queen f2 makes sense, but I don't think queen f2 is a difficult move to expect to find. Okay, bishop here, just kind of developing with tempo. Rook now. It's kind of funny that bishop f1 was actually trapping the queen. Really weird queen trap there, but somehow every square was covered. So bishop f1 would have been nice. Yeah, I think we'll take here. Curious which way he takes back. Rook d4. And I think we go after this pawn. It looks very difficult to defend. Oof, allowing bishop takes on g6 here. This should be pretty nice for white. Let's think. How... Yeah, how do we continue this? It feels like the knight is almost trapped, but I mean, taking the knight is just such a... It's almost like, how do you not play that? I don't know. Let's just keep making normal moves. In the end, I feel like, you know, a little bit unsatisfactory in terms of what we decided to play, but I think we have to be okay with it. Queen g2 looks good. Bishop d4. There might be e5 to... I don't know, just like if we take, we're kind of in a pin there. Queen here. Yeah, we're definitely gonna have to... I'm not sure how he's gonna avoid this. Like, king here does not look great. Put it that way. I feel like we're gonna get to take on e6 now. That should help out a lot. Rook f5, I can definitely see him blundering, unfortunately. This should make things pretty easy. GG to Mr. D Blob. Not a bad game at all. I maintain that against the Caro-Kann, I feel like this is a really effective setup. I don't know. Most Caro-Kann players are really thrown off by it. You usually get these like quiet positions where you just have the bishop pair. That's it. Nothing crazy, you just have the bishop pair. Something like this is very standard. But white's much better here. We have this coming. Yes, I don't know what this was. Did not think that was very good. I kept missing that this queen was trapped. And this is what I realized later. It's just such an unusual trap. Yeah, it is trapped. And so I realized that a few times. But yeah, this was fine. Like, of course, it's winning. But it was funny. Bishop f1 did trap the queen, which I kept failing to realize. But yeah, Caro-Kann, very effective. And I think the bottom line is, it's so rare playing this system that someone's like attacking us, going full out. I don't know. It feels pretty safe. We feel pretty secure, especially against Caro-Kann. No issues. Really easy position to play in terms of a threat level from our opponent. Okay, d6. Let's take our tempo. Again with 97, e5, and okay, we see d5 here. We're going to be playing c6. Bishop d3. I think it's time to capture now that that a pawn has to take back. This feels pretty good. Yeah, it's possible, for example, like c4, e4 would be a typical blunder here. It's not even like, for example, here, bishop b5 is a very good move. So e4, clearly our opponent wants to do this. However, that position might still be decent for us. I think we might be able to just almost call the bluff, like just go into the complications here and say that it favors us. So let's do it. Let's try it. Just because I think bishop back to c3 is so nice, but that wasn't necessary. Yeah, I could have just played safe, castled. Okay, important. What do we do now? Queen a5, really try to prevent the castling. Queen c4 is also a move. I kind of like queen a5. That looks a little bit uncomfortable. Like, how do you actually get yourself castled? That's kind of weird. Can't castle. Moving the queen doesn't seem to help. So there is rook here. Okay, he decides to go rook there. That makes sense. If rook here, there's bishop h7, which I believe is a problem. Yeah, I think that is a concern. We can throw this one in first, but I just can't quite get my rook there. So I think we're gonna have to play bishop d7. Here, there's bishop d3. I feel like it's like just barely scraping by here, because here, queen f3, there's bishop b5, and there's also always queen h5 or something. So let's try this. Okay, with some pressure here and bishop b5, that may not have been the move, and rook e1's not possible. Okay, he goes here. There's no queen takes, but there is rook takes. I think this might get the job done. Almost certainly see rook d3, but we can just bring the bishop back. And for about 60 reasons, that is not a good move. And he realized at least one of them right there. Rook e1 is not quite it. Yeah, I think we have a good position here. Nothing too crazy. Definitely better for black. I like that position. I thought that was the way to do things. And yeah, d5 is in general a bad move. So if your opponent's playing this, you should be very happy in the opening already. Bishop c4 lines are much more testing and more standard. But yeah, d5 closing it up does not favor white. Just stick to your same system, and take in the center when they have to take with a pawn is a pretty good rule. Okay, let's go d6 again, claiming our tempo with knight f6, knight d7. We're getting used to this. f4 pretty common here as we're moving up. More and more people interested in playing it, but knight f3 is standard and good. Again, d5, yeah, not that dangerous of a move. Let's play c6. Okay, well, we can see the sort of setup our opponent's going for here. But if you long castle, you do walk into a fairly easy pawn storm. And I haven't committed castling yet. Okay, that bishop move has to get this as a response. No matter what happens, I feel like we're pretty happy. Let's go here. Maybe renewing the b4 threat more seriously. I mean, it looks like you can't castle here. That's for sure. Like, no way. You can go knight g5, but we can castle to defend that. I mean, he just castles into this. That's bold. That's bold. Maybe A4 and then B4. I'm not sure. Definitely an impressive maneuver there. I think I might actually. Ooh, I kind of want to go for this, but there is 95, so realistically we should castle if we're doing anything like that. Otherwise, it might be time for like A4, B4. Yeah, I feel like we go for this. But yeah, knight C5 for the moment. I want to be a little bit careful of. Let's just go B4. Bishop takes might look good, but it could be a little bit much. I think I'm actually going to take that way. He decides to take here. This is hanging, so is this. Probably take that. And at least after B3, you know, his bishop doesn't really exist. So I feel a little better castling. Yeah, I mean, this pawn is hanging, but I feel like castling is a bit more important. Okay. Taking now seems to be the move, unless bishop A6 first for any reason. No, surely we have to take. Queen D3 doesn't have a tremendous response, but knight back threatens E4 takes F3. We can also go here, but I kind of like this. I mean, he's going to play G5, so it'll probably be like a trade of pieces here unintentionally from him. But I still think that works out, especially if Queen E2. This that was probably not the. You had to move somewhere that couldn't just be attacked, unfortunately. Okay, we're looking to take this bishop and then maybe take on G5, depending how he recaptures. White's pieces over here do not look very impressive. Yeah, bishop f5. I mean, obviously h5 will be played, but bishop f5 is just such a natural move. Rook b4. This looks like a problem. I guess we have to take this back. But yeah, rook takes or some kind of takes on b3. Yeah, rook takes and rook b8, bishop b3, rook takes b3 is most likely the winning continuation. I mean, yeah, queen is. This is this is terrible. Rook takes on b3 is very powerful. But yeah, everything literally pointing. The queen is so depressed on a1. Everything's pointing. I don't wish I knew what that move did. I think my opponent wishes the same. Yeah, the queen on a1 is just no comment. No comment for this piece. And yeah, we get this standard starting position very often. Bishop e7, c6, and yeah, always the same idea. Especially if someone's handing me bishop c4, like yeah, b5, a5, just without question. And yeah, this looked all very good. But yeah, those opening positions should be becoming familiar. Long castle walks right into your pawn storm, so it almost feels even better than... I mean, I'm doing that anyway, even if they castle kingside, so this just works even better. Okay, we're going to go get our pieces out like this. And bishop there. Yeah, I think probably pawn here would be my move, just because takes and knight d4 might trade a lot of pieces. He decides to go here. A little unfortunate. Doesn't strike me as a great move, but does feel like one that's going to liquidate. So here. Okay, that move is obviously a big mistake. And the game actually ends after bishop e2. GG. Not even 10 moves. But yeah, I mean, you talk about building habits. 95 is not a habits move. This is this is nowhere near a habits move. Just, you don't need to be a hero here. You know, just develop the rest of your pieces. E6, knight f6. Black's position is fine, but 95, just kind of asking for it, and then now, obviously, just lost a piece for nothing. Even if I recaptured here, it's completely over, but in this case, queen a4 obviously gets things done immediately. GG. Or not really. Okay, let's go again with the white pieces. This guy's just a bishop takes f3 robot. Sure. d5. I'm thinking in general we want to take. Just because we have the bishops. Normally I might just leave the pawn there, let them play d4, but in this case, yeah, like I said, we have the bishops, so we do want an open position. And we can immediately, I think, improve this bishop. a5 I think we want to do. This does hand me that pawn. Just want to double check. Should be good though, especially because the knight can just retreat and defend the rook. Definitely a little scary, you know. Pieces headed my way. I think bishop d2 here. I mean, to be honest, this is also on my mind, but bishop d2 just to connect everything in the position, especially, namely the rooks. I think this is the way to go. I actually really like the move rook e4 because I do not think he wants to take it. Bishop g5, tempting, although not too special. Yeah, I actually really like this move. Helps me double the rooks, and I do not think he wants to take. So kind of a funny looking move, but I think very effective. Weird rook e4. So let's start with this, because when the knight goes there, I don't want his other knight to be able to take back. This knight is trying to go into c4 here. Okay. Knight c4, maybe queen b3, just to be a little bit annoying. Obviously, I would like a queen trade. Bishop f1 looks like it'll make that happen. Or rook a4 for that matter. And black has to be careful where they put the knight. Knight here would just lose, so knight e5 becomes pretty much the only move, maybe even the move to be played now. And on top of all that, b7 is hanging. So this is not just about trading queens. b7 is also loose. I think we'll make it happen. Rather than take the pawn, to me, this feels like an easier conversion. But let's see if that makes any sense at all. I think there's only one move. Knight e5. But I am realizing knight d2 can be played. I don't think I gave that proper consideration. I think we'll take that. Bring the king up. Knight takes e4, I think just kind of hands me... It looks like it wins a pawn, but I think it's probably bad. Maybe let's start with this first. King f7, rook e1, and we should be getting that back. g5, I think bishop c1 is the best move. Even though rook takes e4 was also extremely good, probably winning. Bishop c1 has the added kapow factor of just moving your bishop back, which everyone loves. And now we get to hit him with en passant. Starting to wonder if he knew that move was possible. I guess this might be the best. I don't know. It's hard to say. Taking obviously looked good as well. Okay, so we'll go here. GG. Fianchetto setups where the bishop comes out. I swear these positions are the most comfortable, so easy to play. You get the two bishops and you don't really have like, here's the thing that I love about this opening. You don't have a lot of pawns in the center that need attention. You have one pawn and you know exactly how to defend it. Knight d2 if needed. And it's just not something that comes under fire. So you're sitting here in a position where the only weaknesses you're going to have are ones you end up creating because you start off with none. Like it's just such a compact position, no weaknesses. And yeah, I like opening the position, tuck the bishop, reroute it. It looks fantastic on g2. Yeah, and this looks like a pretty nice position. Nothing to do here. The bishops are being utilized really well. We had a game where we featured the double tuck. We played bishop f1 and we played bishop c1. The double tuck is successful. Okay, interesting. I mean, these guys, these kind of players who are just like literally insta-sending every move are the most satisfying to beat. They just feel like completely manic. I'm like, what's going on here? What's going on inside that brain? Maybe bishop back to d2 feels nice. Knight d2 feels nice, but knight g4 kind of a little bit unpleasant. Let's go here. I don't really like dealing with that. And if the knight moves, bishop d2 is always available. In hindsight, maybe rook here would have been better so that we could have left that square for knight d2. Possible. But we're up a pawn and we can't be too upset with what's happening. Take this and bishop d2 maybe. Bishop e2 rather. I would normally go here, but I have to be a little bit, because we've won a pawn, there's no d pawn for black, so. Actually, I was trying to let go of that piece on d2. I'm not upset with the move, but I don't think it is the best. Would have maybe preferred rook b5 on the previous turn, but we'll do it now. A similar idea. I think we probably go there. Could also go queen a4, but that drops this. But it drops this into playing this, where we'll end up winning it. So it'll actually look like a mistake, but it'll be a win. the best kind of mistakes. And then maybe we can hit him with the... Oh, okay, it's just going to go knight b7. I guess we'll take here. Rook c8, and we just go back. Rook takes, I think just because it trades the queens, I would say we're completely fine with it. So here the queen has to go there, and then here, yeah, so this will force a queen trade. Queen trade is big. Queen trade is winning. This guy's like a insta, he plays his moves in 2 seconds, he resigns in 2 seconds. Everything he does is at light speed. It's like, what was he even doing? By the third move of the game, I already had the bishop pair. I couldn't even describe how good our position was. D4, like, I mean, I have no comment. Guys like this are just free elo. Okay. Knight f6. And definitely looks like an e5 moment. d5 once again, not... Yeah, I would say not a great move. Again, when you play a5 and they respond to a4, very, very bad move. That's not a move that should ever concern you as a response, I mean. Let's go here. I actually am interested in maybe playing bishop g5. He has a fortunate move here because maybe he'll play bishop f2 just to keep it on the board. But okay, queen there. We can play knight b3, but then he'll play bishop takes bishop takes g5. We just got 100 subs from Java Bandit. Oh my goodness. I'll break character for that one. Holy smokes. Let's take this. I think this is the way to go. Here, here, and here. Actually, it kind of depends how he reacts to this, but let's actually go queen here first. Thank you very much, Java. $100 subs is just madness, but I think Java is contributing to a future speedrun, so you guys know what to expect. We got a great speedrun here with the Philidor, but I got some more systems to show you guys. Because not everyone's going to like this system. It's not going to be to their style. I think it's really easy to learn. It's been working beautifully so far. But everyone has different preferences for openings. So Java is making sure that we bring everybody some future options in case this one is not for you. Okay, he's going for a big think here. I mean, knight takes on d3 is a winning move right now because that's pinned. So if you play something like rook a3, rook b1, something like this, he is going to lose a full piece. It looks like it's defended, but it's pinned. And my queen is defended. So how do you get out of this? Well, moving this makes a ton of sense. Okay, he also comes up with a move to make it happen. Now, if we take, the rook can take back. If we take here, I don't know. Bad things look like they're about to happen. My plan was to go knight b3 because this would trade the queens. And then, yeah, even if he goes here, I'll just take a step back. Rook d8, bring our king in. I say rook d8 because I expect the bishop to retreat, and then I gotta watch out for that d pawn. Actually, if the bishop retreats, I guess we had this. So do we go ahead and take this right now? I'm not too sure. Takes, rook b3. Technically, we should be doing that. It hurts me to take that because it's such a bad piece, but it's technically correct. Our knight here is on a bit of an awkward square, so I don't feel like 100% confident here. Bring the king to the middle, maybe. Okay, let's go here. Yeah, knight there looks annoying enough for me to care. Get a nice trade here. I mean, he has to trade, I would assume. No, he's really against it. It's an interesting move, actually. Let's do this. I think take this way. Ooh, good game there. Yeah, this d5 stuff, I guess people do play it. It's reasonably common. It's no good, though. White would do much better holding just keeping the tension. Holding the center like that. So I thought this was fairly, like, really, it comes down to the understanding of the move a4. a5, he plays a4 thinking like no big deal, but really, and we've seen this a few times, this pawn controls these squares, whereas my opponent does not have the same thing. And after this, the weaknesses on c5 and b4 are too much to deal with. a4, big issue if you ever see people do this. Use those squares. I basically, yeah, I was all over these squares, and because the pawn structure was starting to be like literally every pawn on light squares, what did I do? I traded my dark square bishop. So yeah, I think this position is key. We're leaving him with a light square bishop. The only reason I took it was to win a pawn, and believe me, I felt a little dirty doing it. I was like, don't enjoy this. Okay, we'll go d6. At f6. Again, we want to play e5, but we don't want to allow that queen trade. We never do. Only way we ever trade queens in this opening that early is if they play f4, and that's simply because, yeah, there's not much we can do against that system. Okay. Rook e1, queen c7. Got our standard setup here. Notice how, as we're starting to get up the ratings, people are playing bishop e3, but usually after playing h3. So they're like, yeah, they're taking care of their pieces. Let's go for b5. It's kind of, it's about that time, right? Time for the queenside pawns to roll. Yeah, pawn takes is not quite, like, you almost think you're trapping the bishop there or something, but not quite. Also, this move it's lurking. I don't know if it's happening. I feel like it might be happening. It makes a lot of sense with the rook on c1 here, I have to say. So I do understand it. Not sure if it's something that we should like take into account or anything. For the moment, I think I will. I'll go here. I'm definitely expecting simply the knight to reroute, and we're not sure if we're going to be fully ready to handle this, but okay. So we definitely know that the intention is there, but it's going to be much worse now when he does it. Still, do we want to allow it? Because we could play b4 and really play against it, but at this point, I think we actually don't mind it. So let's do this. c4, we are ready to take. And every time you move the bishop back and tuck it in, there's this extra pressure you kind of create on the e4 pawn. So it makes sense that he did that. We're going to play g6 to keep it out. He does go c4. Let's see here. I feel like taking does make sense. Most likely it'll be bishop takes. And now we have to decide. I do think I like this knight to d7. And we have some squares for our pieces to utilize. Bishop g7, knight c5, knight e5. Most likely knight e5, just because I don't know about those double pawns. Could be good, but let's go here. Knight c5, knight d7, or knight e5, knight d7. Okay, he's just bringing all the pieces back. Respect, respect. Now let's go with this one. Let's go knight e5. He takes. I'm just a little bit surprised by that. His knight does not seem very good here. This knight can still reroute to square like c5. I would say bishop e6, rook b8, knight d7, rook d8, a5, knight c5. These are like the moves I'm looking at. Also h5. So the knight's coming over here. I don't really know where it's going. So on queen e2, I think we'll actually play knight h5. Normally, I'm playing knight d7 here, but knight h5 on queen e2 I think is particularly strong because g3 can't be played. So this is this is actually very uncomfortable for white here. I'm actually not 100% sure what to do. Queen f1 maybe? Bishop e2? It's not very comfortable. Okay, well, that's gonna lose. I think just doubling makes the most sense. Knight there. Yeah, that's a trade for us. Rook takes on f2 or checkmate in the corner. Suppose we can get a nice pawn mate here. Satisfying. GG. He's not Matthew, but Mothew. Maybe he's just British. I think that's actually the case. He's just British. It is Matthew. Hello, my name's Matthew. My fault. My fault. It was Matthew. Just British. My name's Matthew. He's just telling us how to pronounce it. All right. We're playing James Cook. Great final game here. I'm suspecting the bishop g4 takes f3 energy is looming. You know, it's somewhere in the world. always, you know, just give that bishop a nudge. I'll do it once again like this just to see where we're at. And he does give me the bishop. I think general, we're pretty happy about that. We have the bishop pair looking pretty nice here. I have a feeling he's about to play this move. Objectively, it may not be the best, but I do think that's what we're about to see. Let's play a5, gain some space here. f5. I think I'll just leave it, move the knight so that we can gain more space. Yeah, at this point, I don't know if he thinks he's attacking or something, but surely we can manage here. Probably bishop d1. Also, I kind of like knight f3, knight h2. That means there's no risk of g4 happening ever. Okay, I was saying bishop d1. We're definitely going to do it now. Makes even more sense. For sure. Like this. And even if h6, g5 happens, there's no h5, g4 because the g-pawn's hit. You see what I mean? Once g5's played, you're kind of stuck. So can honestly just maybe leave it for now. You can bring the king in. So we can throw a nice little tickle in, just because I think we can relocate here, which is a little bit better than all the way to b3. Okay, probably bring this king into the middle. Hard to say where the best place for that bishop is. I don't really know. A couple good options. I think I picked the best one, predicting what move he might do. Definitely. Let's go to the A file now. This knight, I believe, wants to move over to c4. Okay, this one is not quite threatened. Let's get rook a1. Obviously on rook here, we're going to repeat. Always do. I think we'll go here, reroute this, play f3, bishop f2. That'll hit the knight here. So yeah, I like bishop f2 a lot. Gotta move that knight, and then maybe is it time for just bishop c4 and take some material? I think it is. I think it is. No way he can keep everything here. So he goes like that. I think we might have to snap this off. We have d4. Yeah, he does decide to push. I think we just take this. f3 is kind of a nothing move. Knight takes e5 will be a good move. Taking, for example, is also... Whoa! That is high energy. And not completely crazy. I think we need to get this knight over attacking that pawn or something. I don't know what else to do. GG to James Cook. GG James. What happened? Oh yeah. Once again, same setup where they play bishop g4 with the fianchetto. Always give him a nudge with h3. You'll most likely just win the bishop pair. He should play bishop d7, but I do this because it's like people are going to make a mistake and not do it. And in case they do, and then play h6 and put the bishop back, you haven't really lost any time. So it feels beneficial. And yeah, anytime you have the two bishops, definitely take some practice to get real good and confident on how to use them and how to proceed. But we were able to reroute all of our pieces pretty effectively there. And then in the end game, we're 2 pawns ahead, so have to be winning. And e4, d6. It's time to gain our tempo. Knight f3 is normal. I think people for the most part have stopped playing e5, and I want to say hopefully have stopped playing bishop c4 and just hanging it like that. Okay. a3, knight a2, like this is a 1500. What's going on here? What am I looking at? Do you want to play c4? I'm really trying to understand here. I'm trying. c3. I mean, at this point, I'm probably just going to play d5 because what I'm looking at here is just disgusting. So we could sit there and like keep our system a little bit more intact, but I have to say I don't particularly respect the moves I'm seeing here. Yeah, this knight on a2 operation is a little bit funny. Knight h5, we can get rid of that one right away. Probably just bishop here is fine. Goes c4. Let's start by just going here. He'll probably do the same, to be honest, something like that. We do have b5 as a playable move. All right, I'll play d4. So f5 and f4, you have to assume is just winning. Yeah, I mean, we gotta be winning. If I'm not winning a piece here, then it's just not fair. It's just not fair. Just bishop g4 and take. We can also go here and take. I think the reason I instinctively went there was to try to deal with the move c5. But ultimately, it doesn't really matter. One way or another, that bishop is lost here. Has to be. f4 is a really weird move. Like, it gives me a huge problem in the e4 square. It's not how I would normally advance these pawns, but I did it only because I saw that this bishop was getting trapped. So I would not recommend in general to advance the pawns that way, but this was a case where I could see that we were winning material, so obviously that takes precedence over anything. Very nice. 1600. Thank you for making it to the end of this episode of the Philidor speedrun. This opening has been super successful for me, and I hope you guys are experiencing the same elo boost. As always, make sure to subscribe to the channel if you're not already and turn on post notifications so you do not miss our next upload. I'll see you guys in the next one.